I very rarely go back and purchase the same bottle twice, yet I've had this bottle of whiskey not once, not twice, not thrice, not thrice, but this is the 5th time I've had this bottle in my collection.
You got a problem, man.
Now, as always, drink responsibly and share your whiskey, and this one is perfect for sharing with both whiskey snobs and noobs.
Wow, you are a special kind of noob.
So I felt the channel has been quite Scotch heavy lately, so it's time to turn back to my first whiskey love, which was Irish whiskey. And I'm turning to the most well-known Irish whiskey brand, which has appeared in everything from Black Mirror to Star Trek. And no, it's not Proper 12. I'm talking about Jameson, and more specifically, the best Jameson release, the Caskmates Stout Edition. Welcome back to Jeff Whisky. I'm Jeff. This is Whiskey. Let's crack on. Jeff Whisky. It feels like a lifetime ago that I last talked about Jameson and I battled the classic versus the crested. That was a long time ago now. 3 out of 6. It's Jameson's after all. Man, that mustache was glorious. I remember spending hours editing that video, and I even created like a little Jameson Pokemon battle. Back then, videos were probably taking me a good 20 hours each to edit because I had no clue. Still don't, but at least I'm slightly faster now. But looking back in that video, the classic Jameson got an acceptable 13 Jeffs and the crested stormed ahead with 17. Now I hope with this bottle I score it higher, otherwise this whole Jameson spiel about it being the best one, just a waste of time.
That's what we call foreshadowing.
And looking back to when I first reviewed this bottle on my poor, often ignored website, I reviewed this and gave it a massive 21 out of 24 Jeffs. I certainly think I've become a bit harsher since then. Maybe it's just that I'm more aware of how great whiskey can be. But either way, let's see how a 2023 review of it does. Time to talk about the experience. Visually, this is not going to blow you away. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a step up from the standard. Straight away you can tell it's Jameson, it's got the classic green bottle in there, but it's been jazzed up with like a swanky black and gold design. Why did I say jazzed up and swanky? It's like I'm trying to be on Mad Men or something. I'm sure using the cream colours at the bottom and the rest of the colour choices on the label is to reflect that stout Guinness vibes with the froth. And the little ticket cutout's a great little added extra. And also for the first time I've noticed it's got little tasting notes of rich coffee, smooth chocolate and butterscotch in there. Never spotted that before now.
Open your eyes!
The Jameson crest stands out really clearly on this bottle, which very much gives it a bit of like a hipster speakeasy vibe.
What are we working with here? Fruity, earthy, grimy, grungy, slimy.
And it's got the John Jameson motto of Sine Metu. I'm sure I've butchered that, which it means without fear or something.
The heaviest thing John Jameson carried to Dublin was his family motto, Sine Metu.
I'm sure this mass-produced bottle is going to have colour added to keep it consistent, and I'm not sure I can really knock a point for that. You're not going to expect a bottle as available like this to be natural in any way. It would be cool to see like how the finish in stout barrels have affected the colour compared to a normal Jameson, but to ensure consistency they'll do like a colour match. They'll go down to B&Q, get the swatch they like and just make every bottle the same.
Lady, why don't you just pick a color, please?
Of course, it's got to live up to a little slappity slap. Not too shabby. A swanky slap. Why am I saying swanky? Guess it's better than saying wacky. But let's see if anyone else can do better with their bottle. Tell you what, these guest slappers, they're definitely stealing the limelight. Overall, for the experience, I think it's fair it gets 4 out of 6 Jeffs. Right, time to get it poured, and here goes on the nose. It seems strange to pour it on camera now. I often do it kind of like just as a midway break between filming. At least it's showing off the nice screw cap. Little bit of dribble. We've all been there.
I didn't really. It wasn't like a full-on. It was a dribble.
Firstly, it smells like Jameson.
No way. Yeah.
It's actually quite grainy, like the dusty cornfields in Inception. Like you often find that in like really old single grain whiskey. It's a bit metallic on the nose. I quite often find this on Irish whiskey. That Peaky Blinder Irish whiskey was like licking those old arcade penny machines. It's pretty mild with like some sweet green apples, cream. Yeah, that Jameson's. I gotta stop saying Jameson's. There's no S at the end.
Oh, you should be able to pronounce that.
But that Jameson, but there's definitely more of that chocolate sweetness which comes out after a while. Like you really got to get your nose in there, but it's like the chocolate coins you get at Christmas time, like a bit of foil, cheap chocolate. I'm starting to get like apples and raspberries on it too. I think on the Crested I got quite a lot of raspberry. It's actually a really nice soft nose. It's like a boozy hot chocolate. Now this is tough, like it's not a dominant aroma in any way, but it's just really nice. Maybe if the nose was just dialed up a little more, it would be really great. Possibly almost to like Glenmorangie Signet level.
Oh, stop talking nonsense and keep moving, son. And try not to be so cheery.
A 3 out of 6 seems a little harsh, but it feels a bit better than a half score. But I don't know if it's quite a 4. 4 seems a little too high. There's like a chalky milkshake note, which I think is just going to nudge it into 4 out of 6 Jeffs. But there's not much more time to waste. Let's get to the taste. Cheers. Straight away I get juicy fruit and nut chocolate. There's that classic Jameson metal butterscotch toffee note. That stout finish is doing a really good job raising all those flavours up with this like chocolatey ocean.
Do you want a chocolate?
At first I thought, ooh, this is like mouth-wateringly good. But then the ABV, the 40% ABV kind of comes out and it does start to get a bit flat. There's that sugary cheap chocolate, like not like a rich and dark chocolate, but like a really, you know, the really cheap ones you get around Easter.
Chocolate! Chocolate! Chocolate!
I recently done like a good 10-11 days of no whiskey as a way to kind of reset my palate, reignite that whiskey passion, and this is a great one to enter back with. Yeah, it really is so sippable, so easy, but there's still quite a fair bit of flavour going on. There's some melted vanilla ice cream, off-brand white mini milks. Maybe I'm just thinking of ice cream because it's so warm.
It's too hot today.
I'm getting like a bit of a salty taste. That could just be my sweat dripping into the glass.
And it gets hot and sweaty and stanky.
There's a little bit of life at the back, like a little bit of heat, like cinnamon sweets you used to get. It leaves like a chocolatey fudge milkshake aftertaste. Yeah, maybe cocoa butter? No, cocoa powder. It has kind of like a bit of a dry kind of swallowing a spoonful of cocoa powder. Like it does seem to finish off quite quick. There's like no unpleasant tang like when you're doing shots of Jameson. It's just a really nice kind of fade out into the background. It's like when a song has that perfect fade out at the end. Lynyrd Skynyrd Freebird. Great example. Maybe it's just the joy of sipping down a simple whiskey after having some real heavy hitters. Or it's the big dose of nostalgia for taking me back to when I first found this beauty back in 2020. I say when I first found it. That was only 3 years ago.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
It really is one that you can just keep going back to more and more. I think this is going to get a high score. It won't stretch to a 6. I think that's definitely probably a step too far. But I really think I'm going to have to give it a 5 out of 6. It's not the most complex. It's not the most like wild, amazing, what is this, blow your mind kind of thing. But it's definitely perfect for what it's trying to be. Like think of this as a poor man's Glenmorangie Signet. Yeah, it's going to get a big 5 out of 6 Jeffs on the taste. I know that's high, but that's how I'm feeling right now recording this. I'll probably go through editing and change my mind. So future Pete White editing, you do your thing.
Just too tired to care.
But now of course it's time to talk money. Even though when I do like my reviews, I really have a lacking of notes, I kind of just try to wing it as much as possible. But I made sure to check the cost that I've paid for this bottle in the past. And to my shame, all bottles have been through Bezos's basement, as you just can't compete with how cheap it goes on there.
Shame. Shame.
Looking back at my orders, I brought 5 bottles of this through there, and I think I got it for a gift for someone, and I think maybe I've been gifted it twice for like birthday or Christmas. So the first time I purchased this was £18, and then £16, and then 2 bottles were at £14. So I think the last time I paid £20 for this then, which must be the bottle I'm running through now, which is from October 22, which I've really not made much of a dent in it. But yeah, all were sub £20, and that's brilliant for a brilliant whiskey. I've checked, lots of big online whiskey specialists have it for around £25, £26.
Jog on.
But you can always get it £24 and under. So let's say if we base it at £22, be generous, it's going to be 6 out of 6 just for value. But always be like me, put some price trackers on it, add it to watch lists, and I'm sure you'll nab it for at least £21 before Christmas. I'm going to have to check the recording to see what the final score is.
Let's stop, look, listen, and get to the numbers.
Right, so if I can do maths correctly, that score is coming in at a big 19 out of 24 Jeffs. Like, that's
Big score.
That's with some like big bottles up there. Maybe I was a bit too keen here, but I've committed to it now. You may see in the scoreboard at the end that some may have like a little star next to them to show that the score has changed when I've revisited the bottle. I'd like to know if you've had this, or if you've had the IPA Caskmates bottle. Let me know your onions on it below. And if you've enjoyed this review, slap a like. If you've hated it, a dislike. You can support my attempt of being a whiskey tuber by subscribing to the channel. And all that's left is all the best, and cheers to the next one. That's nearly all gone.